Hi everybody, and welcome to Garden Style. Well, as promised, I am here today to talk about cannas and bananas. Thought we would go to the tropical side, being we're in the month of July, and that is when both of these plants seem to be doing their best as the weather starts to warm up. So the first one I'm going to talk about is going to be cannas. And I've got a little sample right here of some of the beautiful leaves that they're available in. Now this particular one they call Starship. I've also heard it called the Tiger Canna. I've heard it called all sorts of different names. But you got these beautiful green and white tropical type leaves. And this will come out with these gorgeous deep orange blooms by the time August rolls around. And I'll flash a picture of that in this video. But this is just one of many. Another variety down here that we have has much darker leaves with these gorgeous red blooms. And this is a very small specimen, but I can guarantee you he will get just as big as some of the others. Now some of these can get up to 3 to 4 feet high, sometimes 5 feet high. It just depends on where they're planted. These do exceptionally well in some of the southern states like California. For instance, I remember my mom having just a huge strip of cannas along the backside of our house, and they were huge. Probably about 5, maybe 6 feet tall. And cannas come as bulbs, or tubers, if you want to call them that, where they get planted directly into the ground. Up here where I live, here in the Northwest, some areas have gotten away with being able to plant them directly in the ground. I have not had that kind of luck. As soon as I tried to plant them directly in the ground, I ended up losing them by the end of the winter just because it got too cold and too wet for them. So I still love these plants, so I just put them in pots. I have lightweight pots that I can bring into the garage at the end of the season, which is usually around October when it starts to get really cold. I'll let them get zapped first, and that way I cut them back, and I just drag the whole pot back into the garage. I tuck them away. They don't need to be in any kind of light because they go dormant in the wintertime, especially here in my zone, in zone 8. And I just ignore them. You let them get completely dry during the wintertime. Don't water them, don't do anything because they are dormant. And you don't want the bulbs to get too wet anyway and then be sitting there in really wet soil. So I just drag the pots into the garage, I ignore them, and then I just pull them right back out again in the spring. Now one thing I wanted to do earlier this year was show you how to divide cannas once they have filled their pot. And trust me, I've got a couple plants at home, which I'll flash pictures of at the end of this video, that are huge. They have filled up these big, large pots. And needless to say, I didn't have time to do that. So hopefully by next spring, I will be able to dump these pots out and show you exactly how to divide canna bulbs. And honestly, there really isn't much to it. It's really easy. I just dump out the whole pot. I have a big tarp. I just dump the pot upside down, and I literally take a shovel and whack it in half. And you'll see the size of my pots. I could probably get 4, if not 5 different types of plants out of this one pot that I have. It's huge. And I actually have a couple of them that are like that. But they don't seem to mind. You'll see in the pictures that they are just growing their little hearts out, and I can't wait for them to start blooming. But again, here's another variety that's in a red. Most of these are hardy to, you can give me a hardy zone here. Most of these are hardy down to zone 7. So that's kind of borderline for us here, being I'm in zone 8. But trust me, for those of you who live in colder regions, regions 6 or 5, any zones colder than zone 7, highly recommend that you put them in pots and then just pull them into the garage during the wintertime, and that way you can have that tropical look and that tropical feel all year round. So there's another variety for you. And then of course this one has more of a pinkish bloom to it, and of course your typical dark green leaves. But I find cannas, what's the deal with Canada today? I find cannas to be absolutely gorgeous for that tropical feel, and I just love their big leaves. And these are something that I always mix with banana plants, which is my next topic I'm going to talk about. And I apologize if you hear road noise. I am filming this here at the nursery. I'm kind of close to the road here, so you might get some noise in the background. Apologize ahead of time. Hazard of doing videos. Anyway, then let's talk about bananas. This is a good sized one right here. And this is a baby, or what they call pups. Now bananas can usually grow year-round in Southern California, Florida, some of those areas, Alabama, Mississippi, a lot of your southern states, bananas can grow year-round. Now, I'm not so lucky, as I live in a colder region, so I treat bananas just like I would a house plant. I'll actually put it in a nice lightweight pot, plant annuals around it, that sort of thing, and have it out on my deck during the summertime. And then I pull it back into the house in the wintertime, and I put it in the brightest window that I can find. And again, bananas are very much like cannas are. They like full sun, plenty of water. I don't put a lot of my banana plants out in the direct hot sun in the late afternoon because I find it kind of singes their leaves. Kind of like what you're seeing right here. See? This will happen sometimes if you have them out in the hot sun in the afternoons. We have ours underneath trees here at the nursery, but this one leaf was sticking out in the afternoon from underneath the tree, and he managed to get singed a little bit. But no worries, he's still sending up new growth like crazy. So bananas are probably one of the easiest tropical plants that you can grow. So don't let them intimidate you. I treat them the same way I do my canna plants. Being they're tropical, they prefer lots of moisture, sunshine. I would say morning to afternoon sun, but anytime after 3 o'clock, make sure they're kind of shaded so that their big, huge leaves don't get singed. But yeah, they do very well in high humidity areas. Now, will I ever get bananas up here in the Northwest? Doubt it. Being our light is as little as it is up here, and our summers are fairly short compared to areas like Southern California and Florida. But that's not why I'm growing them, is to get bananas. And honestly, if you have a greenhouse and you live up here, then you're in luck, because you can just pull it in the greenhouse and it'll just continue to do what banana plants do. Now bananas in the wild get huge. They get extremely tall. I doubt mine will get that tall here in the Northwest, but I love them anyway. And this gorgeous specimen that I have sitting here behind me, let me zoom in on it for you. Right there. Look at him. Isn't he gorgeous? And found these specimens with the darker leaves, and kind of have a maroon edge underneath them. And the leaves are absolutely huge. They're huge. And I love them as background plants so that you can place your cannas in front, some annuals to really create that really neat tropical type of feel. So, what else can I tell you? This particular banana is actually hardy down to zone 7, same as the cannas that I just showed you, but I still treat them the same way here in zone 8. I'll put them in a real pretty pot, have them out on the deck during the summer, and then I pull them right back in the wintertime. Except rather than putting them in the garage, I actually pull them right back into the house, put them in a really nice brightly lit corner by the windows, and he just kind of holds his own throughout the wintertime, and then I shove him back out into the wild in April when it gets warmer. So you can treat these like a house plant, and that's exactly how we do it here at the store as well. So if I don't sell all these banana trees by the end of the year, we'll just bring them into the store, put them in a nicely lit window, and they just hold their own until the following year. And let's face it, honestly, that's how most houseplants are treated anyway, right? So, cannas and bananas, super easy. Now, I've planted bananas in the ground before, and you have to have a very hardy variety that's going to survive here in the Northwest. And I actually planted it underneath a tree so it would be protected whenever it snows or we get frost, that sort of thing. And I did have it come back several times. And then there was that one year, that 1 in a million year, where it got so cold it actually zapped it. So, rather than taking the chance, I put it in a pot. But they're super easy. They don't need to be in a big, huge pot. Their roots are fairly shallow. They don't go deep or spread quite as far as you would think. I have gotten pups or baby bananas that come off of the actual banana tree. You can actually slice those off and replant them into another pot. So if I get a specimen that actually does that, I'll show you how I do that. And you can make more banana plants, which is pretty neat. But it's just kind of cool for us here in the north where we don't have the tropics around us all year round. So it's kind of nice to bring them to us and have them close by and enjoy their beauty for what they are during the hot summer months. So a little surprise for you, something I wanted to kick in here at the end, and that is calla lilies. Look at that beauty. Callas to me are also an extremely tropical looking type of plant. This is actually a bulb, and this variety here is called hot chocolate calla lily. They make an excellent cut flower. Of course, fabulous foliage. You'll see here that this one has those beautiful speckled leaves on them. These prefer like part sun. They don't like to be out in the hot afternoon sun as well because their foliage is pretty tender. And these will probably get about 16 to 18 inches high with a width of about 12 to 14 inches. These would be fantastic in front of cannas as well as the banana trees if you're trying to create that tropical look. And this is also hardy down to zone 8, which is 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And I put these in the ground here at my house. They seem to be a little hardier than the banana trees are and do very well. But I just wanted to introduce this color to you, hot chocolate, which is kind of cool. But these are available in yellows, reds, whites, purple and white, variegated leaves. So get out there, find your calla lilies. They're blooming right now, and they actually have a pretty long bloom time. I've had these blooming for about 6 weeks now until they finally stop. And then you have their beautiful foliage to enjoy for the rest of the season. But how cool is that during the summer to finally get into more of the tropical plants and get a different look out there? I know for those of us here in the Northwest, we get so tired of looking at fir trees and pine. It's just nice to have some different foliage to look at during the summertime and just get a different look. And these also combine great with, you know, Buddha statues, running fountains, just to get that whole feel out in the garden. I, highly recommend that you guys try and pull something together like that to give yourself a quiet place to go to during the summer as well. Okay, so that's my quick blurb on cannas and bananas. If we can grow them here in the Northwest, surely you can grow them where you live, especially if you're anywhere south of us. You'll have way better luck and probably much bigger plants than what we are able to enjoy here in the Northwest. But the varieties that are coming out now are getting hardier and hardier, so the hardier they get, the more I'm going to want. All right, you guys, this is the 4th of July, by the way, that I am filming this on, so I wish all of you a very happy 4th, a very safe Independence Day, and of course I'll be tuning in again here real soon to go over some more surprises that I have coming your way. I've got a whole list of plants that I'm going to start covering with you guys. Things are calming down here at the nursery a little bit, so I'm actually feeling like I've got a little more free time. And you're going to get a tour of my own yard here in the next week or so, because I know a lot of you have been wanting to see it and been asking about it. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you in about a week or so. And of course, if you have any questions, you can get a hold of me at gardenstylenw.com or my email at gardenstylenwest@gmail.com. And any questions or comments, of course, you can leave your stuff in the description box down below, and I'll get to you as soon as I can. Hit a big milestone this month. We've got 5,000 subscribers, and it just keeps going up, and that's just great. I'm so glad to have all of you tuning in and hopefully getting some inspiration and of course learning something new about plants and how to plant them. Okay, guys, take care. Happy 4th, and we'll see you soon.